Welcome to Talking Horses by Horsestock. We are reporting from Belmont Park and Saratoga Racetrack about this year's Belmont Stakes and the weekend's racing festival at Saratoga. We spoke with several racing insiders about their expectations for the upcoming weekend and the big race. A few of the entries have changed, but the commentary remains spot on. I'm here at Gary Sacca's stable with the assistant trainer Paulie Barone. Been here for training and on the track in various capacities for 48 years. This Belmont Stakes Saratoga coming up. What's your quick assessment of who's got a shot and who you're looking at? What story is interesting to you?
I liked the way Sierra Leone ran in the Derby, and that's who was my pick in the Belmont up there at Saratoga. He's probably training up there right now on that track, and he's going into the race a little fresh. A couple of these other horses, ran in 2 races back to back, which is always tough. And that's my pick for the Belmont Stakes.
We're here with Carlos Martin. He's been at the track over 30 years, primarily Belmont Park. Very knowledgeable and successful trainer. How do you see this Belmont shaping up? Do you have any comments about it?
Could be a very exciting race, Doc. Obviously, Mystik Dan, the horse that won the Derby, was second in the Preakness. He's a consistent horse. Seems like he's a strong individual. McPeek is going on with the show and rolling him back in the Belmont, so that bodes well for him coming out of the Preakness. He had a little bit of an out after being second in the Preakness, so a guy like Kenny McPeek was so experienced to come back in the Belmont. I think that bodes well. I think his tactical advantage, he could be close. He doesn't have to come from the clouds, could serve well on a track like Saratoga, 1.25 miles instead of a 1.5 miles traditional Belmont distance, and the horse has got good tactical speed. I could see him sitting a dream trip behind Fierceness and behind Seize the Great, 2 horses that seem like they run their best when they're on the front end. Of course, if McPeek decided to run the Oaks winner, Torpedo Anna, and if Todd ran the sensational 3-year-old he has for Mike, also Mindframe, it could be an epic Travers of a lifetime, but I'm not so sure if we'll get those 2 participants. Mystik Dan, like I said, a great horse, consistent, and I'm really excited to see him run here for the first time at Saratoga. Also, the horse that was second in the Derby, who's been very consistent for Chad Brown, I think getting down to Saratoga with some home cooking. Chad has been so successful there over the years. Skipping the Preakness, Sierra Leone will be a tough customer. I always thought he was the best of his generation. Unlucky, I thought, a little bit of a have to come in from the inside to the outside. Wide draw, as it turned out. Inside draw, but turned out a big horse like that. You knew he was going to be 8-10 wide like he always does to try to get up. And then there was some bumping going on. I just think we haven't seen the best of Chad's horse. I think Sierra Leone is a genuine article. And I think his rally is going to be very effective if the race sets up with this speed that could set up in this year's Travers. Sierra Leone is the pick, the Mystik Dan for me, and rounding out for third. If McPeek runs the filly, she's good, Torpedo Anna. If McPeek doesn't run the filly, then for third, I could see Anna Marie coming back with a good race. I thought he was a buzz horse in the Derby. I'm not sure he had the best of trip. As a bomb, I think Anna Marie is a very interesting horse also in the Belmont Stakes.
I'm here with Rick Dutrow, trainer extraordinaire at Belmont Park. He's a trainer for White Barrio, who's entered in the Met Mile coming up at Saratoga on that Belmont Stakes weekend. How's the horse been doing?
He's really come around lately. He's himself now. Very happy with him.
So you don't think he really fired for you in Saudi Arabia and he just wasn't himself in the trip?
Well, still don't have an answer for anybody. I don't really know. So I don't see anything that has stopped him from training the way he's been training, which is very, very good. I just don't see that there's a problem with the horse. I haven't seen it, so I just can't tell anybody what happened.
Right. So you're optimistic about his future here with the Met Mile, and he's definitely going to be competitive. And
well, if he runs the way he's been training, he's going to run a big race because he's just tipping his hand now and he's ready to roll. I breezed him day before yesterday. He really, really liked the way that he went. So we're very excited about the Met Mile with him. Yes, very excited.
We wish you the best, man.
Thank you, sir.
I'm here with super trainer David Duggan at Belmont Park, 30 years in the thoroughbred training industry. David, what do you see for this upcoming Belmont at Saratoga?
The placement of the Saratoga to me is, Belmont at Saratoga is pretty impressive. I love it. I think it could be a day to remember, or a week to remember. But in saying that, I believe that Sierra Leone to me is the best horse. Luckiest loser out the Derby. I mean, to me, so obviously, if they can beat him, they have to be good horses. The other Pletcher horse, Antiquarian, is the one that I believe can get a little close to him, Todd. And obviously, if Kenny McPeek runs Torpedo Anna, I think she's probably good enough too to be competitive. The rest have to move their game up a little bit, but for me, it's Sierra Leone.
We're here with an upcoming star, Philip Antonacci, Lindy Farms, and doing some great training here at Saratoga. Philip, what do you see happening for this coming Belmont at Saratoga?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think it's really interesting this year to be at Saratoga. Distance change obviously makes it a totally different race than a classic Belmont. But I think it's going to, there's a couple horses I think they're very dangerous. I think if Todd runs out Mindframe, he's a very talented horse, and I think the distance should suit him well. And it looks like he's been training very well up here, and he's kind of a fresh horse to say. And I think obviously Chad's horse Sierra Leone, if he gets a few of those quirks kind of straightened out and he can get him to perform like he's capable of doing, that he'll be tough to beat. But I mean, it's those big races, anybody can show up, riders can override, horses can do anything. So I think it should be an interesting race, and I think it actually the distance change and venue change this year makes it a bit more open and going to be an exciting race.
I'm here with Gary Contessa at Saratoga, super trainer, has been very successful for many years. Gary, tell me a little bit about your superstar horse that's back on the return, and then give me your concept of who you think has got a good shot for the Belmont.
Sure. Nutella fella, after he won the Hopeful, we were quite confident that he was going to come back and win the Champagne. And he started getting a little bit off in his hind left, and we assumed it was a foot. There was nothing apparent, no heat, no swelling, no nothing obvious. And it just wouldn't go away. So Dr. Castro was kind enough to do an MRI, or suggest that we do an MRI. And I was thinking, oh no, this is just a foot. But we found out that he had an incomplete condylar. We fixed it. We did surgery in the Bolton Center, and he's on his way back, and he's doing really, really well. He has not missed a beat. I was fortunate enough to be able to work him twice in Florida, 5/8 of a mile. So when he got here, he was ready, and he's had 3 or 4 tremendous bullet works here, and he should be ready for the Woody Stevens. I don't feel any lack of confidence in him being fit for the Woody Stevens on Belmont Day.
Now on to the Belmont coming up, which is at a new distance, 1.25 miles for Saratoga. And interesting, one of the lead horses for Dwayne Lukas is an Arrogate Son, as last year we had Archangelo and Arrogate Son, the speedster breeding. What do you see? How do you see this lining up?
I don't see Lukas getting an easy lead like he did in the Preakness. I think they're going to be on alert for that. And I see this coming down to a 2-horse race. I like Mystik Dan. I know Kenny McPeek is being coy about whether or not he's going to run, but I've seen the horse out here. He looks like he's good, and he looks like he's good to run. So I think it's going to come down to Mystik Dan and Sierra Leone of Chad Brown. Now, Sierra Leone, in my opinion, was the best horse in the Derby, but his lugging in antics really cost him the win in the Derby. I see that being fixed. I think they went to a bit that's going to fix his steering, and if he runs straight, I think he might be the best 3-year-old in the country.
I'm here with Junior Alvarado, with Gary Contessa, the trainer, looking on. Junior, tell me, you got a big mount coming up here for Gary.
Yeah, got that horse Nutella fella, won the Hopeful last year here in Saratoga. It was a pretty nice race, nice run that day. And he's been off since then, but working a couple times, seemed to be doing pretty good. And I'm very happy the way he's doing and coming into the race.
We'll be rooting you on now. Also, you'll be riding for Billy Mott, the switch of horses. Tell me, it's Resilience is the horse?
Yeah, running Resilience and the Belmont. A little switch there. They're going with batting down to the Ohio Derby. So I think he has a very good chance to remember the race, the Derby, turning for home. I looked pretty lively there with Resilience, but he probably got a little tired at the end. We had a wide trip the whole way around. So hopefully we save a little more ground this time, and we hopefully have more horse left at the end.
I'm here with super trainer Kenny McPeek. Fantastic run this year in the Triple Crown Series between Mystik Dan and Torpedo Anna, and he is going to put one of them into the upcoming Belmont Stakes here at Saratoga. Can you give me a quick synopsis of what do you see developing? And I know you haven't made any choices yet.
Both horses are pretty easy to be around. Mystik Dan's somewhat of a quiet colt, but rock solid and his work every day. He's galloped super all week. Came out of the Preakness really good. We're going to give him a breeze in the morning, probably second set. We're going to let the filly work first, and then because she's a little bit more nervous and she does better on a quiet racetrack. But both horses are coming in the race good. I'm not going to run them against each other. More than likely, I'll run. If everything goes well with him, we'll run him and then her in the Acorn on Friday. So it's high level problem, and we're excited.
Great problem, 2 good horses.
For sure. You work at this for a long time, and then you get horses like this fall into the barn. And I've had seasons like this in the past where I had Harlan's Holiday and Judge Lady, Repent and Syrah all in one season years back. But it's constant, and sometimes you're on the top of it, and sometimes you're in the valley, and we just got to keep working hard.
We like to see you on top, so congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you.
We're here at Belmont Park with super trainer Todd Pletcher, and he has 4 horses originally going to be entered in the Belmont, but he's got a surprise announcement, plus he's got some other updates on all of them. So Todd, take it away.
So Fierceness, we've decided to give him a little more time between races. He's now targeting the Haskell Stakes, Grade 1 at Monmouth Park on July 20th. We're scheduled to breeze 3 colts tomorrow that are preparing now for the Belmont Stakes. Antiquarian, who's coming off a win in the Peter Pan, which has historically been a very good prep for the Belmont. Then we have a impressive horse named Mindframe, who's won both of his starts in good fashion. Last start was an allowance race at Churchill. Prior to that, it was a maiden race at Gulfstream. So he's very talented, lacks a little bit of seasoning and experience to some of the other runners in the field, but he's certainly shown a lot of talent. We also have Protective, who's coming off a 3rd in the Peter Pan. Had a little bit of trouble trip that day, and we think with a little improvement could move forward.
I'm here with David Grening. Happened to catch him at Todd Pletcher's barn. He's a New York correspondent for Daily Racing Forum. If there's anyone knows anything about handicapping racing, it's David. So David, what's on the radar as far as you see it for the upcoming Belmont?
Well, obviously it's a very interesting race this year because it's a 1.25 miles and it's at Saratoga as opposed to 1.5 miles at Belmont. So I think it actually helps the race because I think you get horses that might have been on the fence about it, and if there was 1.5 miles, they might have said, maybe we'll wait, freshen them up, point to the Haskell/Travers. But it sounds like we're going to have Mystik Dan and Seize the Gray, so you get the Derby winner and the Preakness winner. First time since 2013 that there were separate winners of the race, and they're going to meet in the Belmont, which is kind of cool. And you also have a very good horse in Sierra Leone for Chad Brown, who was 2nd in the Kentucky Derby, just beating a nose. A little bit of an equipment change there, and they'll be coming running late. And then you have a wise guy horse for me, and a horse called Honor Marie, who was 8th in the Kentucky Derby, which had probably the worst trip of the 20 horses in the race, and 12 of the last 24 Belmonts, which would mean all the Belmonts in this century, have been won by horses that ran in the Kentucky Derby, did not win the Kentucky Derby, skipped the Preakness, and won the Belmont. A lot of them had bad trips or bad results, got the 5 weeks freshening, took a step forward, and got the job done, usually at a pretty decent price. So if you're looking for a price horse in the race, I think Anna Marie would be that. Look, Wayne Lukas, I'm not going to ever, you throw out Wayne at your own risk. Seize the Gray ran a tremendous race in the Preakness, holding off Mystik Dan. We'll find out for sure whether Mystik Dan runs or not over the weekend. I think he will. He's supposed to work on Saturday, and by all accounts, he's training very well right now. So that'll be cool to see Mystik Dan in the race. What else can I tell you about the race? Well, we're not going to have Fierceness in the race for Todd Pletcher. He announced that on Thursday. But he still has 3 in the race, including a very exciting horse in Mindframe. He's 2 for 2, won 2 races very easily. It's just, this is a different kettle of fish that he's going to be facing. He's not facing just an average Belmont field. He's facing the cream of the crop of the division, at least the horses that have sort of risen to the top. Where you have the Derby winner, you have the Derby second, you have the Preakness winner, you have the Preakness second. It's a good field this year, and if he pulls this off, he might just be something special.
We're here today at Saratoga with super trainer Chad Brown. He's got one of the favorite horses, Sierra Leone, in the upcoming Belmont. Chad, how do you think your horse is going to do?
Well, he's training really well. You know, he's racing a magnitude of the Belmont Stakes. It's going to be a difficult race. There's a lot of good horses in the race, but he'll have his final work tomorrow, and just hopefully he gets a clean trip in the race and he can run his best.
Mr. Lukas, you seem to like that Arrogate line, and it's a shame he's not with us anymore. What's your 2 cents on that horse?
You know, it's unfortunate because Arrogate, I really believe, was going to be one of the really good sires, maybe go right to the top. But I've only had a couple of them. I was lucky enough to win the Oaks with the Secret Oak by Arrogate, and now we got Seize the Gray and Preakness with it. So Arrogate Pedigree, I think, is going to be one that people are going to search for and try to carry on, even though we lost the horse. Well, we're here. We made it at where Seize the Gray, and he made the trip beautifully. We're coming off, as you know, a super effort in the Preakness, but I'm not so sure that he didn't benefit from that, and he's not even a little bit stronger. So it looks like we're going to be very competitive, I think, in the Belmont.
We're here with super trainer Jena Antonucci, who had a spectacular 2023 with Arcangelo, a son of Arrogate, and was fortunate enough to interview her for the Travers last year, which she won, and had won the Belmont before that. This year, the Belmont Stakes up here at Saratoga has been run at the same distance as the Travers. She knows the footing, she knows the track, she knows the people. Jena, give me your view, and I'm not asking you to necessarily pick a favorite, just tell me what kind of race it's going to be.
I think it'll be one for the community and the horse environment. It'll be fantastic. Saratoga being obviously quite friendly for horse racing and having such steep history here. I think it's a very interesting race. Just it'll be wide open for, I think, a good trip. It's not going to be a huge field, but it'll be a fun field, and I think a very evenly matched field as far as quality, and the horses coming into it all have been super competitive with each other, and so I think it'll be a lot of fun for the horsemen, for the horse racing fans, and obviously those wanting to wager on it.
The 2024 Belmont Stakes and its festival of additional races will be epic. The Belmont Stakes is being run at Saratoga Racetrack, and the distance is shortened from the classic 1.5 miles on Big Sandy to 1.25 miles. There are 10 talented contestants, including the Kentucky Derby winner and Preakness second-place horse, Mystik Dan, and the second-place Kentucky Derby horse, Leone, and the Preakness winner, Seize the Gray. Any horse is capable of winning.